It's November 14, 2024. I'm Todd Dunn, and today I'm in Southwest Harbor out on the Manset Town Dock. And I thought I would come out here today, even though it's in the 30s and a bit windy out of the north, and show you just what the harbor looks like here in the middle of November. Looking east, the docks over there belong to the Hinckley Company, and they still have their docks in, which is unusual this late in the fall. And you can see there's one lobster boat out there. As we pan around here, there is a mooring service barge out there. They winterize moorings and all that. Here's another service barge, another lobster boat out there. And those are various people's floats for the end of their docks. Up here a little further, there are a couple of Hinckley jet boats waiting to be hauled out. Those moorings do belong to the Hinckley Company. They're more sheltered than their main mooring field, especially for northerly winds. They'll be hauled out soon. And then there's a small boat, which is Hinckley's work boat. Then there's an old Chris Craft cruiser that people will haul out in a little while. It hangs on the mooring all summer, and they use it as a floating cottage. And you can see a few lobster boats on the other side, and one sailboat still there, and a few docks. But the harbor is pretty nearly down to its winter occupancy. And it's chilly out here, so I don't think I'm going to stay out here too long. It's also only about an hour until sunset. Let's look over toward the west. Yeah, there in the southwest is the sun behind the trees, and it's already behind the trees, so we're in the shade. And you can see the summer homes here have their docks and ramps hauled out for the winter. And we're just about to go into full winter mode here in Southwest Harbor. This dock on the shore actually is the float that belongs to this dock here. And they put it up there. They got a little ramp that they pull it up on, and it sits there every winter. Straight up there, the building with the sort of reddish orange shutters is Peter Trout's restaurant and bar, and it's one of the few places here that stays open for the winter. And then various homes. These are all pretty much summer homes. People might come over Christmas or New Year's, but they're basically empty for the winter, along with many other homes. On the quiet side of the island, about half the homes are summer only. Over there, that's Greening Island. You can see a house there, boarded up for the winter. Of course, the only way you can get to Greening is by boat. And once the docks are out, it's much more difficult to land on the island. And I don't see any docks in. Well, maybe one about halfway out. Sutton Island over there in the distance. So it's chilly today. Got down well below freezing last night, and it's supposed to get down below freezing tonight as well. Let's walk over here and have a look at a couple things. Sitting over here at the edge of the shore that you might find interesting. And what I'm referring to are these mooring blocks. Now these look like concrete mooring blocks. There are two of them here. And you can see a big block of concrete with a loop of steel embedded in it, and a chain attached to that, and a line for mooring the boat. Now this would be a very small block, only good for a small boat. I have a similar block, although mine is made out of granite. It weighs about 3 tons. And I have 1.25 inch bottom chain and 5/8 inch chain at the top. So rather a bit more sturdy for my bigger boat. And there's another mooring block over there. I think these probably belong to the town, and they use them to anchor their dinghy ramp, and its floats, which are attached right there on the other side of this little dinghy. Okay, there we go, looking out into Southwest Harbor, Maine. We're looking north across the harbor at Greening Island, and then beyond that, the hills of Mount Desert Island. Okay, it's hard to get where there's any sun on me, but that was a quick look at Southwest Harbor here on the 14th of November 2024. And just a week ago it was in the 60s here, and I think that today the high was about 39, and it was 26 this morning. So things change quickly. And we had a breezy day yesterday with winds up to about 50 miles an hour. Just breezy. Within a month, we're going to be looking at some 50 and 60 knot storms that some of them can last for several days, which is why people haul their boats out. That and the fact that it can, although it doesn't every year, it can go below 0 here. Not exactly prime boating weather. Anyway, just thought I'd show you that, and now I'm going to head back home. We're going to head over past the Hinckley Company and a few of these little summer cottages here that look out over the harbor. And there is the view from these cottages. It's currently 3:15, so we have just under an hour till sunset. And these buildings are boat sheds. There are 2 of them here that belong to the same people. They have big boats. And this is the Hinckley Company. This is where they actually built all of the Hinckley sailboats, and they started building the Hinckley jet boats. It's now just a service yard. They build all their boats on the mainland. And over here, a Morris M32, a Hinckley jet boat, a big sailboat that's hauled out over there. It's been there since yesterday. And a fish boat that somebody's been working on here. You can see the white paint there. They had re-glassed that, and just a few weeks ago they primed it. And I suspect it had gotten beat up by fishing gear coming in over the side of the boat. And we're gonna head on over here. All these houses here that we're passing right now are summer homes. Many of them are also short-term rentals. It's not uncommon for people who own a summer home here to rent it out when they're not here, just as a little to offset the cost of owning a summer home here. And virtually a lot of the people here, even if they're residents, oh, there goes a deer, and there's another one. There we go, running across right there. A couple deer. We'll probably see 8 or 10 on the way home. It's about 5 miles. And this is something you have to watch around here. Deer are a real hazard. and you do not want to hit one. I mean, it's not really dangerous to you unless you somehow lose control of the car by swerving, but you will do some damage to your vehicle. My wife hit one a few years ago in downtown Southwest Harbor. It bolted out between a couple of the business buildings, and she hit it. It landed on our hood and slid off, jumped into the next lane, and a large car ran over it and killed it. So, okay, we're out here in the Manset part of the town of Southwest Harbor. And actually, in the last year or so, they have designated this as the village of Manset. We're not quite. And then there's the village of Seawall out past that. We'll see the sign in a little bit. We just passed the entrance to where I store my boat. I was over there a few minutes ago putting some lead ingots on and some other gear for my deck repair, which I'm hoping to start tomorrow afternoon or Saturday at the latest. So, here we are. Pretty quiet here. Not much going on. And here is a view out over the water. Just a second, when we get past this house. Nice view out over the water toward the Cranberry Islands. And there have been some houses up here with waterfront property for sale in the $2 to $3 million range. Very beautiful views out here, though. Okay, as we continue up here. And 5 more deer on the right there. You wouldn't have been able to see them. I just noticed them as we were driving by. And we are now, I believe, in the village of Seawall, which is part of the town of Southwest Harbor. This little building on the left is Charlotte's Lobster Pound. It's shut for the winter. And I believe they're going to move to Charlotte's restaurant or motel right up here. Here's another deer. And on that driveway, some wild turkeys. And 1, 2, at least 6 more deer over there. More than that. Lots of deer. And half a dozen wild turkeys. Surprised that they're not in hiding yet. We're coming up on the time of year when they tend to keep a low profile. Yep, more deer up there. I'd say I've seen about a dozen deer at least since we left the town dock. The deer population here on Mount Desert Island is really significant because there is no hunting on the island. Reason for that is pretty simple. A large percentage, something like 60% of the island, is in Acadia National Park, and the rest of it's in private hands, and there are houses everywhere. So anyway, I'm gonna pull into Acadia National Park here, so we're gonna stop until I get out on the other side. Okay, we've just exited Acadia National Park. I didn't shoot when I drove through because I do not have a permit to shoot video in the park. And also, I'm going west right now, or I was, and about half the drive was straight into the sun, so you wouldn't have seen much, just glare. We're in Bass Harbor now, and we're going to continue down. And I'll end this when we get over here and have a look at the waterfront here in Bass Harbor. It is pretty close to low tide right now. And it looked like a pretty low tide. Okay. Well, this is the turn to go out to the lighthouse if I wanted to turn left and go out there. The lighthouse, of course, is in Acadia National Park, so I could not have filmed it. So anyway, we're just going to drive over here. I'm going up to the post office to pick up my mail. Then we'll go over to the waterfront, and then I'll head home. summer homes here too. In the last census, 50% of the homes are not owner occupied in the winter. That means either that they're summer homes or that they're weekly rentals. So this area is pretty typical of the island in terms of home ownership, but not so much in terms of businesses and tourism. We don't get anywhere near the tourism that they do, say, in Bar Harbor. Of course, there are no businesses here, so there's nothing for the tourists to do over here except go to the lighthouse, walk the Ship Harbor and Wonderland trails, and that's about it. So I'm into the post office. Okay, I've backed out of parking here at the post office, and I'm going to head down to the waterfront very quickly. I'm almost out of battery, so this will only be another minute or so. We'll have a look at Bass Harbor here on the 14th of November. So here we go. This road goes about a block, and we're at the water. And we're gonna take advantage of the seafood restaurant right down here, and this is the seafood catch, and take a look at the water, and then I'll be done. So here we go. This is private property, but that's the only place where you can get right down to the water here on this side of the harbor. So I'm going to get out, and we'll have a look at the harbor. Okay, here is Bass Harbor. We're looking straight across toward the Bass Harbor Town Dock on the other side, and it's pretty quiet in here. All the boats in here right now are lobster boats, with the exception of one cruise boat that hauls people out for day cruises. And they just haven't hauled out for the winter yet. They will quite soon, but these are almost all lobster boats. A lot of the lobster boats fish over the winter. They go out when it's nice and leave the boat in here. This is an extremely well protected harbor, and there's very, very little wave action in here, even in the worst storms. Okay, there's Bass Harbor on the 14th of November, 2024. So with that, I'm going to end this video. Hope you found it interesting, and thanks for watching.